It's time for the next episode in my final review series, and today we're checking out Australia. It's Gojo's singing Milkshake Man. We're going to check out his live performance from the second semi-final, what went right, what went wrong, and talk about what Australia could do next year in the contest. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So I'm continuing on my series where I look at the contestants from the 2025 edition, and today we're checking out Australia. Gojo, who unfortunately came 11th in the semi-final, did not qualify. Today we're going to look and see what went right, what went wrong. I'll play as much of the original audio and visuals as I'm allowed. If I need to make changes, it'll be up onto my Patreon. This is Gojo. Wanna know my secret bang? That looks kind of orange on the side for Australia there. On the right side. I love the TV starting with the little Australian flag on the side. It really reminds me of Confide in Me by Kylie Minogue. If you don't know that song, go check it out. It's a very classic, iconic, one of her best songs, I think, where the whole thing is sold as she's like a cool girl and she's doing like an advertisement. So I like this really, really fun advertising starting. So right at the start now you can hear his vocals aren't super strong. Styling wise, I kind of like what they've done. I think I like the outfit just like a little bit neater. Her outfit looks really sharp. His looks a little bit like, I don't know, it's just not, I want like really sharp, neat, perfectionist. And then makeup wise, I'm not feeling it. He's got a little bit of rouge. You can't see his eyes at all. I want the hair back. I wish they'd done like a gelled hair back, because I think that would have given like a kind of sleazy salesman type. It would have fit in with the theming of the song. Plus we could just see his face clear. His face just looks smudged out. You can't really see his moustache that clearly. You can't see his eyes. I think he really needs some eyeliner under his eyes. The hair back, I think he needs to be made a little bit paler so his eyes pop. And then still keep the rouge, because I think that's fun. It alludes to kind of a 70s feel, and it ties in with the red that he's got lower down. But yeah, styling wise, I think this just could have popped a little bit more. She looks great. I love her hair and her styling. He's a little bit nervous here now. The moves are just a little bit too frank. I want a little bit more like cool suave. I want him to be like a real seductive salesman. It's just giving a bit too much like someone who's selling their first car, and I want the person who's already sold 100 cars. I'm being very critical here now, but because I'm looking for things that went wrong because this didn't qualify. I still think that he's got charisma here, and he's got a cheeky smile, and I think he gets a little bit more comfortable later on. So look, there's lots of positive things here. She's great here, this bit where it's frozen and she's given this huge smile. I still think this is really fun and captivating. Okay, he hit all his marks there really well. Okay, missing a couple there. He wasn't looking in the right place. This staging as well is done by Marvin Dietman. He did Australia, Germany, and Ireland this year. 2 non-qualifiers in Germany. Sorry, I think he was also involved in Armenia, but I think that was more clean rather than Marvin Dietman. Yeah, like vocals aren't super strong, but you can hear the musicality really clear. Like the musicality is coming through really clear. It sounds close enough to the radio edit that I think you can really appreciate the song. Color wise, it's fun, it's very vibrant, giving us rainbows, pinks. All across the land, I can tell you want to taste of the Milkshake Man. I think the camera cuts now could have been smoother. It looked a little bit too much like I am going into the thing. I think Marvin could have chosen camera angles that were just cooler, maybe cut to the audience a little bit. It just looks too much like we're watching someone walking into a thing. It's not done in an artistic way. That could have been done so much better, I think. Clunky. It's just a clunky entrance. And now, you hear the crowd cheer there. Just, so I was in the crowd in this, and generally the first song of the night always gets a huge reaction because everyone's so excited. This is the second semi-final. First semi-final is like huge because it's like the real start of the contest after so much anticipation. Second semi-final also has a huge reaction. The crowd were totally muted there. So what's really interesting is that first 45 seconds, we were going crazy. Everyone was so excited. This was a really, really popular song. People were shouting, they were singing along with him. There was just a huge eruption of energy in the arena, and you get zero of that. And I really do think when we're talking about a song that came 11th, and we're talking about really small margins between him and the country above him, that can make a difference. He's making a humor presentation of the song, and it sounds like the crowd aren't buying it. We did buy it. We really, really, really love this, and he had great energy on the stage, and it's not coming across how it was received in the arena. Now he's doing great. You can see those movements there. He's really, really confident. That looks really great. And he's sounding more confident now. Okay, graphics there could be a little bit better than that. I'm gonna be real now. I think I could make those graphics in a minute on Canva. That it could just look a little bit better. It could be a bit more like, that font isn't great. It could just be bigger. It could be more wow. It could like ripple up from the bottom. It could have like a strobe effect on it. It could have like a real popping 70s strobe. Font wise, that's just, graphics wise, that's a missed opportunity. Again, it's a long static camera angle. Someone convinced me that Marvin Dietman's better than he is, because it's just, I don't know, you look at the top people and they're just not staying static, doing nothing for this long. Why aren't we getting an interesting angle from overhead? Why aren't we mixing it up? This is like a long, just nothing. Every day and before you know, you'll be bigger and stronger with harder buzz. But the storyline aspect is fun, and I like this kind of like 45-degree angle down with this blue and yellow four. That looks really, really cool. Okay, again, just a little bit too anxious there. It's just the characterization just want a little bit more of a smooth, seductive salesman, and sometimes it's just a bit kind of maniacal, and it just doesn't come across the right way sometimes, but a lot of it is great. We're 70 seconds into the performance. We haven't seen the audience once. For a big, energetic song with the audience, I think it was a bad decision of Marvin to cut the audience out completely and not show. People were jumping. There should have been camera cuts into the audience. Again, they're close up his face. Just can't make out his features. The makeup was just off. I like this new orange swirl coming in. Some of the choreography, again, it's just, I can see why he's got it, because giving him the choreography gives him a safe space to sit into in terms of movement, because he is a little bit nervous. But maybe he should have just had a couple of shots of whiskey before he got on stage to slightly loosen him up, just get that flow. And we have the second gen, and you can hear the crowd, and it was way bigger than that. This is so muted. Lighting's not great here. That is so dark. She's whispering in his ear. You can't see because it's not lit up properly. This should have had better lighting from the bottom. Maybe we could have had the whole floor lit and had no overhead lighting, so there's still a dark effect, but you can actually see what's happening. You can't see what's happening now. This is a lighting error from Marvin. Again, look at the lighting on his face. It's scary. It's more like horror movie rather than seduction. Again, lighting problem.
When I say sweet, sweet, you say yum, yum, sweet, 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 sweet. When I say sweet, sweet.
Again, this doesn't work as well because the yum yums in the arena were very, very high. And unfortunately, they cut to quite a sad looking Australian lady. It's the muting. I hate the muting. I think it's terrible. I'm hoping that they just did it. We know that they're doing partly because of the booing against her. And actually wasn't even that much booing towards that country this year, but also because of Malta. So I'm hoping that it was more just because of Malta and their word, particularly in semi-final number 2, that they just decided, okay, we're muting everything. I hope that that's reversed next year, because it just, what you're seeing on TV is so different, and it really takes away the live conviviality community feel of the show when you're just muting the people who are there in the arena.
You say yum, yum, sweet, sweet.
Okay, that was a little bit better now. You see this angle here? Like that, there should be more of this. Everyone going yum yum. Literally half a second. That's it. And you can see everyone's involved. This is the only insight you get into that the song is going down really well in the audience. I think of Baby Lasagna last year when he did the moment and you could see everyone doing it, and it was just this like, wow, my God, this is totally working. People are loving this.com. And I think if you're at home, you're like, it's almost like a crowd effect. You're like, okay, this must be amazing because everybody loves it. So I think that he should have shown the audience way more. They should have made sure that they got a good person to get the camera on for that moment, find like a real hardcore Aussie fan, get Dale from Aussie Vision in, put him in a little bit of an outfit. So many missed opportunities to get the crowd's energy involved into this. It's a sales pitch, and the people that you're selling it to, you don't even show. And then the reveal. I think the reveal is done pretty well. And we have the milk explosion. This is a strong bit. Again, showing the crowd not lit properly. Literally get like a hand light, put it underneath, get someone in your team. Tell the audience, say to the Aussie fans, hey, we're going to put you in the show. Can you hold the light up on yourself? I don't know, just like make sure things are lit so we can see them. And we're getting more audience now. On the side, and that's wonderful. And that pan out's really, really lovely. As he pans out, we get this beautiful color palette now with all the fruit. And he's totally in the mood now. And he's doing a little bit, I think there's a little bit of ballroom there. He looks really, really confident now. He just needed this confidence earlier on. He's feeling the energy from the crowd more. But see that wide shot that we just had here? That's a great thing. All the sparkling lights, all these people going crazy. This is bad staging decisions for me from Mob. There should have been way more cuts like this. We should have way more pans out with these pink lights going everywhere and they're all moving. Have it like this where the lights are off so you aren't seeing individual people, because then you might pick out that someone's not moving. But when you just have the wristbands going off in the pink lights, this looks so wonderful. It's a really climactic ending. Like that last 40 seconds really saved a lot. But there's so many dud moments and just nothing happening moments in the staging in the middle and the start parts. And then we got the fans. That's the type of energy we need from the fans now. The lady we saw there jumping, going crazy. So let's go through the results first, because as I already spoke about in my semi-final 2 analysis video, this was so close, this came 11th. Very arguable that if Australia had a buddy in the contest like New Zealand, or someone who was just going to give them points no matter what, because Ireland and UK don't do that. Malta, Cyprus, all these Greece, all these countries which have a connection with Australia just don't give that automatic 12, 10-point love. And then we saw that Armenia did get that. They got that from Georgia. They got that from Israel. That was the difference for me, because this actually got points from more countries than Armenia did. It just didn't have that strong buddy points. So a little bit of a shame. I think it was more deserving to go through than Armenia, in my opinion, because I think it's a stronger song. Armenia did a great job with their staging, but really, like, you look at it, that's diaspora voting that got Armenia across the lights. It's a little bit of a shame. But having said that, there were still mistakes made in that show. Lighting, makeup, hair, his confidence for the first half. The storylines look so static. There wasn't any dynamism or excitement in them. They could have just been so much better done. So I put a message on Twitter asking people to say what were the reasons why their casual friends and family did not enjoy this, or what did they think about it. So let's have a look at some of these. I can't read all of them out. Eurovision Faith says, my friend is literally obsessed with this. She texts me about it all the time. Faith, help. The Milkshake Man guy has turned up in my dreams for the 3rd night in about a week. Oh no. Loved it. Was my best friend's #1. He absolutely adores the song. My mum said it reminded her of songs from the 70s. Roby Odd Bulge. Why is he wearing so much makeup? I don't think he was wearing enough makeup. Or I don't think it was the right makeup. A lot of people found the performance strange and couldn't really place it. So not getting the mood right and the feel. I think a little bit too much frantic or more sinister feel. They needed to keep it light and fluffy for the whole thing. They thought it was funny and entertaining, but complained about perceived vocal issues. I don't think I noticed that as much towards the end. Definitely at the start. You could just hear his voice was lacking a bit of power, a little bit of nerves. They liked it. I think just by the end of the show, it was overshadowed by Latvia, Austria, Lithuania, Greece, Finland, Casual people aren't going to vote for their fourth favourite, especially if voting is expensive in their country. Yep, that's a very fair point. Although Iceland still managed to come sixth in their semi-final. Latvia was only 3 songs later. But yeah, maybe just something a little bit more memorable happening. I think going into the machine and transforming, I don't think that was an event. That's a lot more than many countries do. You don't want to over-egg it, because you don't want to put in too much stuff where it gets a little bit overstaged. They just found it unfunny, obnoxious, and try hard. Okay, so that the comedy aspect didn't work. My granddad thought the knee slide was class, but he didn't like his singing. My mom thought he was hot. Kind of a lukewarm response. They didn't seem to get it and spent more time making sexual innuendo jokes after I explained the song to them rather than listening to it. So the song wasn't captivating them. My watch party all kind of got on the same, oh, this isn't qualifying vibe that I got once the performance had finished, even though they liked the songs. One said it was insane in a good way, one thirsted over him, and one was saying it would win the contest. We both cried when it didn't qualify. I saw a lot of people really upset. I think of all 11 non-qualifiers, this is the one I saw the people actually upset. Like, a lot of people were upset with Belgium, but it was more like shock. People were genuinely sad that this didn't go through. My sister's kids were bummed that Australia didn't make it. Overall, the kids in my family really enjoyed it, and the parents also liked it, just not as much as the kids. Okay, so kids liking it, but not giving it enough votes. They were entertained, but didn't love the giant mixer, said it was too clunky, but they also said body yaddy yaddy and yum yum. When it NQ'd, they were quite disappointed, said it deserved the spot taken by the other country. Absolute favourite in my family, everyone thought it was robbed from the final, and we even played it on my sister's iPad at the Eurovision watch party over a certain country's performance. Shady. My sister's knee-jerk reaction was dislike of the whole shtick, but she warmed up to Gojo a little throughout the performance, and she agreed that the muted audience was unfair. So I wonder, did it start off in the wrong tone? That frantic. I think if it had a more warm, buttery beginning, maybe it could have had more people on side from the start instead of starting not great and having to convince them later on. Horrible toilet break opener. My friends liked it and felt bad he wasn't in the final. My mum said that it was too inappropriate. I'm surprised. I really think that they kind of, really other than the topless part, I suppose there was some crotching at the end, but I didn't really think it was that sexual. I felt the music video was more risky, but maybe she's talking about the lyrics actually. My mum got sad that people weren't saying yum. Again, we were screaming it. It got muted. And it wasn't just that it got muted, it almost sounded like it was being piped in. So it sounded like a fake one. Sorry to say that it always came across as cringy and insincere to me. They found it very good. My mom found it a bit creepy though. My mom said he was a weirdo. I'm almost thinking a little bit of Better Call Saul. I think if he could have a Better Call Saul persona on stage, that would have worked. Very decisive. Two of my friends really liked it and thought it was funny, and Gojo was a good performer, but my mom and another friend thought it was creepy and gross. I gotta point out as well, I think if he wasn't first in the running order, if he'd been drawn second half, I think you could argue that this would have possibly just creeped into 9th or 10th place. My friends loved it. Gimmick song. Said it reminded her of people from the 70s who were creepy. One final thing is about a conversation I had with Dale from Aussie who I watched semi-final 2, and the final he was standing beside me in the pit, and he was saying he believes that it's because Europe expects quality from Australia. So very well put together, beautiful vocals, very, very beautiful, elegant staging. He thinks that's what Europeans want from us, not fun humor. So he thinks that it was an expectation mismatch. He said other things as well, but that was his key point. So what are we potentially going to see from Australia next year? First of all, I want to see Australia next year. Let's hope that that's happening. There are some positive signs. I believe they have submissions open for 2026, but that's not a confirmed participation. Potentially they may be just looking at what's submitted. Can they find an artist with a decent song who's also willing to partially fund their participation themselves? I think a lot of times there's been sponsorships. I think Sheldon Riley had a sponsorship. Voyager did some partial funding themselves as well. So it's about the financial aspect. Can they find someone financially viable? Obviously larger travel expenses coming from Australia. I wonder, could they potentially look at Australian artists based in Europe? Because obviously then in terms of transport, that's going to be much cheaper. So I think that SBS is working behind the scenes at all of the options. I think they're a hardworking delegation. I really hope that we see Australia in the contest. I love them. I think that they put so much effort in. They send something really interesting every year. I really cannot imagine the contest without them. I think it would feel much emptier. I feel like they bring a really unique point of view. They have to work harder. They get nothing for free. Like we saw in the semi-final, no one gives them free points. That second place in 2016 was really, really, really freaking impressive. And they've had so many iconic entries recently. They're on 2 non-qualification streak, both times coming 11th. So close. Last year felt really off. I felt like that staging really just didn't deliver excitement. This year, I do think it was something that could have qualified, that should have qualified, even though there were things that could have been improved on. And I think that if he made it into the final, he would have been more relaxed. So I hope that we see Australia back. I would imagine they're going to continue with internal selections. Previously, we had Australia decides, but my understanding is that that was a joint partnership with the Gold Coast, who are sponsoring the event. I think as a Gold Coast tourist board have stopped that sponsorship, so now that's not viable. So I think they're going to continue with this internal selection idea where they're trying to find someone with a good solid package who's going to be able to fund elements of themselves, someone who's easy to work with. I believe that's one of the important things the Australian delegation look for as well. And maybe they're going to have a little bit more of a focus on vocals next year, because this has maybe been one of the more shaky vocal years. Great charisma and energy from him on stage. Wonderful social media presence, obviously, that's one of his strengths. But I think it definitely damaged them this year that those opening 10 seconds, their vocals weren't strong, and that's the first impression. So I would imagine they're going to be going for something a little bit more jury baby, even though there's no juries in the semi-finals. I think they'll be focusing a little bit more on vocals next year and performance ability, a bit more experience. But I really hope that we see Australia next year in the grand final in Vienna. What did you think about Gojo's performance? Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. No new donations on PayPal or buy me a coffee, but if you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. Thank you to those who support me on Patreon, especially in the off season where their support is so vital. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in another Eurovision analysis very soon. Goodbye.